All right, this is the April 6th, Wednesday edition of the video. We are sort of between storm systems today before our next system gets here this evening and tonight. I'll talk about that here as we roll through this edition of the video. Let's take a peek here at Uptown Charlotte. That's our camera that's perched on top of the Dowd YMCA. If you look carefully, you can see those cloud elements racing by pretty quickly. That shows we've got some pretty strong winds aloft here over our heads today. And that'll continue to be the case on into tonight. So as we get that next disturbance in here this evening and tonight, lots of wind energy, lots of dynamics for it to tap into. And I think lots of thermodynamics, lots of instability this time around for any of the thunderstorms to tap into, unlike what happened in North Carolina yesterday. So a lot to talk about here. Let's look at our temperature. 7 o'clock hour this morning, it's 60 degrees in Charlotte. Good-looking scene there from our camera near the airport, looking back toward Uptown. Same deal, some clouds, but I think there'll be a lot of sunshine today, and it'll be a very, very warm day. 50s to around 60 for all of our current temperatures. Again, that's at 7 a.m. as I cut this video. Up in the mountains, it's upper 40s and lower 50s in most spots. 60 in Columbia, 61 Fayetteville, 65 in Cape Hatteras, 60 in Roanoke and Richmond. Now, yesterday was a very active, severe weather day. Really beginning in Mississippi, continuing into Alabama, and then stretching through Georgia and South Carolina. Lots of confirmed tornadoes, some look to be fairly sizable tornadoes involved in some instances. Just a pretty tragic outbreak of severe weather as we made our way through yesterday, mainly during the afternoon and into the evening hours. Today, it's quiet here in the Carolinas for now, but we already have some thunderstorms firing early this morning from Arkansas into parts of Tennessee and Kentucky, and that's the very beginnings of today's severe weather outlook. And here is the severe weather outlook for today and tonight. You have a large level 3 enhanced risk for places like Birmingham and Atlanta, Chattanooga, Knoxville. And notice those severe weather probabilities do extend into the Carolinas. Level 3 risk in far western parts of the state, and then basically 77 in points west included in a level 2 or slight risk. Those are subject to change. The big question mark, I think the mountains, certainly a good number of thunderstorms fire. Some of those almost certainly will be severe this evening and tonight. The question mark is further east from there, how much of that activity makes it down through the foothills and out into the Piedmont later this evening and into tonight. Now tomorrow, the severe weather threat works eastward, and that'll eventually exit off the North Carolina coast later into the day tomorrow. A warm day. We're talking low 80s for a lot of our highs, well into the 70s in the mountains. Charlotte viewing area, low 80s in many spots, and again, many mountain areas in the 70s. So here's what it looks like on Futurecast. It will be a quiet day today. Now, I'll tell you, Futurecast has not been tremendously excited about the thunderstorm prospects outside of the mountains. Now, you see the thunderstorms getting into the mountains this evening. Not a whole lot of activity east of the mountains, though, on Futurecast. I think that may be a little bit underdone, but it's something to bear in mind. As we move forward then later in the day tomorrow, that system departs, but there's your thunderstorms in the eastern part of North Carolina. And then look what happens for Friday. Colder air begins to arrive, and yeah, that's snow. That is snow kicking in the mountains. I think Friday night, Saturday, some of the higher mountain spots, especially the Tennessee border areas, the northwest-facing slopes, certainly several inches of snow, a pretty good possibility. Now, let me show you some of the more detailed modeling, and I'll show you kind of a contrasting scenario with tonight compared to what I just showed you on Futurecast. All right, here is what the simulated reflectivity, the simulated radar product looks like off the NAM, the North American model. The latest run as I cut the video, the 60 run. So let's fast forward to here. That is going to be 11 p.m. You can see the showers and thunderstorms in the mountains, some scattered activity in parts of South Carolina and North Carolina. You'd have to watch any of these discrete storms that form for the potential of a brief spin-up tornado. And then you wind up on this particular model with a line of storms. That's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and then 5 a.m. And then finally there's 6 a.m. You end up with a line of storms that makes its way right through the Charlotte and the Triad zones late in the overnight hours for tonight. And some of those storms with the parameters the North American model has in place would certainly be severe. In fact, let's look at just a couple of those parameters here. Well, if I can get it to cooperate. There we go. All right, so here, first of all, the amount of unstable air, the CAPE values. That is 11 p.m. and you can see these CAPE values. Now, a lot of time the NAM does overdo these CAPE values, but you have CAPE values over 2,000. That's a very unstable air mass. Even if you cut that in half, it's still a pretty unstable air mass as we go through this evening and tonight. And then notice a renewed surge of instability later tomorrow afternoon over in eastern North Carolina. So let's just take a snapshot here. All right, that is 1 a.m. There's your CAPE values. The supercell composite, that's a composite parameter of a couple different severe weather indices. You're getting up to 6, 7, 8 on the North American model. That is pretty significant for sure. Significant tornado parameters, you're getting values 3, 4 plus. Again, those are significant values, no doubt about it. And let's just real quick, I'm looking at this on the fly. I haven't seen the latest run here. That's the helicity, 0 to 1 kilometer, 0 to 3 kilometers. So yeah, those helicity values are significant. Bottom line with all this is that any of the storms that do make it through the state tonight could be strong to severe. Damaging winds, our biggest severe weather threat, but I certainly can't rule out a couple tornadoes or some hail. So this evening, tonight, you need to have a reliable way of hearing severe weather watches and warnings should they be necessary. And of course, we will, as always, keep you completely up to date right here on Spectrum News 1 on television. And make sure you get the app. Even if you were to lose power or you're away from your television, you can watch a live stream of our stations, in fact, any of our stations across the country, right there within the Spectrum News app. Be sure and check that out. Review that severe weather safety plan. Make sure you know where your safe place is. And this is one of those overnight deals, which are always dangerous for sure due to folks sleeping. So just make sure, again, you have a way of hearing watches and warnings this evening and tonight should they be necessary. All right, that is it for the latest edition of the video. Everybody have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and God bless.